Hey everybody, thanks for waiting. This is Judy, the YouTube lawyer. Today we have an open discussion where I'm going to fill you guys in on all the latest news in the Dan Markel case / case against Charlie Adelson. So thank you guys for being out there caring about the case. I have a feeling most of you guys were actually watching the case management hearing today on Deep Dive True Crime, but here's a rundown of what happened today. The judge set out basically the same deadlines, which are that pretrial motions are due September 22nd, with the witness and exhibit lists also due that date. There's going to be another case management hearing on October 20th, with jury selection scheduled to begin on October 23rd. Slight change was that they actually got more specific about when things are going to happen. So opening statements are supposed to start on Thursday that week, and they might even start having witnesses on Thursday. And then testimony is supposed to start on Friday. Another slight surprise was that Rashbaum thought that the trial is going to last longer than November 9th. He said he has a little bit of anxiety and concern that it could go another 5 to 6 days past that because he has so many witnesses that he intends to call. So that's kind of a surprise. So lets us know that Rashbaum is not going to just sit back and say, well, we're not going to put on any evidence, even though they don't have any obligation to do so. So the judge mentioned that November 10th is a court holiday, so there's not going to be any court on that date. And he did say we'll do whatever it takes to get it done. So that's nice. Judge also said that Rashbaum can meet the week before trial to meet with the IT people so that things run smoothly during the trial. So that's basically what happened. And I guess everybody has their own opinions about how Charlie is looking. So first, I was kind of surprised that his female attorney, Kate Myers, actually kind of rubbed him on his shoulders when she went over there. So that kind of gives you the sense that he's all buddy with his attorneys now. They were laughing and talking with him. He was smiling with them. He seemed very at ease and happy with his attorneys. So that I thought was pretty interesting. So we can pretty much expect that also to happen during the trial, where his attorneys are going to try to pal around with Charlie during the trial in front of the jury so that they can give off the impression that Charlie's a great guy. He's just like one of us. He didn't do this. Wonderful person. We feel totally comfortable being around him. He's become our friend. So Charlie definitely looked like he had gained at least another 5 to 10 pounds or so. He didn't have any visible white hairs from what little I could see, but he definitely looked like he's been enjoying the food in the jail. So that's the big news. Also, we do have a motion filed by Sigfredo Garcia, where I will show that on the screen. Let's see here. Okay, so Sigfredo did this pro se, so it's a pretty pathetic brief that he filed, but what do you expect from some guy who basically dropped out of, where did he drop out of? I think he got a GED, but this is kind of a piece of crap brief that he did himself. He probably had the help of some jail lawyers, self-appointed jail counsel who helped him cut and paste and piece together this motion for post-conviction relief. So it's different from his appeal, which already got denied, because this is kind of like your last Hail Mary attempt to try to get a judge to say, oh yeah, something really bad happened to you. You had, for example, ineffective assistance of counsel. So let's give you a new trial. Doesn't mean that the prosecution can't go after him again. So let's take a look at this real fast. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's been a really long day again with work and going to court myself for my own client today. So I'm pretty tired, as you can tell. I did want to wear this nice red jacket in solidarity with Georgia Cattleman. She likes to wear red. So let me take it off, though, because it was like 100 degrees today. So it's pretty hot here. I shudder to think how hot it was in Tallahassee today. Okay, so take off the Georgia Cattleman looking jacket. So let's take a look very, very briefly at what good old Sigfredo whipped up. So it's very poorly written. He has tons and tons of typos, grammatical errors, punctuation problems, run-on sentences, just basically whining and complaining and saying his trial attorney did not properly object to a lot of evidence, which I think this is not going to get him anywhere. It's probably going to fail, especially since he has no attorney helping him with this. Okay. So let's see, standard of review. That looks like cut and paste from somebody else's brief. Okay, so he says his counsel was ineffective, failing to file a motion in limine to exclude evidence violating U.S. Constitution 5th, 6th, 14th Amendment rights and the Florida Constitution, also ineffective for failing to object to and preserve once presented at trial. Okay, whatever that means. Okay, so failed to challenge unauthenticated surveillance videos and business records prior to trial. Okay, so just scrolling this in case people later want to take a look at it. So let's see here. Okay, so then he complains that the divorce file of Dan and Wendy's divorce case was entered as an exhibit during the testimony of Craig Isom. So he's saying it was hearsay, but he doesn't understand that there are plenty of exceptions to hearsay, especially if it is being presented not as proof of the matter asserted. So even though the divorce file might have had some statements from Dan saying what his child had told him, doesn't matter because we were not there to decide whether the child actually had said this or whether it was true or not. So, okay. Facebook account, he's mad that he's saying that perhaps Lewis had created his Facebook account for him. So that's kind of grasping at straws there. Okay, so this is pretty long. It's pretty long-winded, and I think it's just full of a bunch of whining BS. So sorry to be crude about it, but he also later brings up what was already brought up during his appeal, which is that his attorney didn't show up for the deposition of the bullet trajectory expert. Okay, so let's just scroll down there. Yeah, so ultimately, I think this is useless. He has too much time on his hands. And once again, it's just really weird. It's like at this point, you would think that he would be really mad that that he's been used by Charlie's family, that he would want to testify against Charlie or whatever, but instead he wants to spend his time still spinning his wheels, thinking he's going to get himself out of here. So, okay. Okay, so where did he end this? He said something kind of funny towards the end that I thought was worth showing. Okay, so on and on, talking about what a terrible attorney Sam Zongane was for him. Okay, he said he never got a complete record on appeal. I seem to recall he did complain about that to Harrison, who was his appellate attorney, and that was the guy who wrote back to him and said he has no obligation to print out thousands and thousands of pieces of paper and get all this stuff together to physically give it to him. And he also chastised him and said, you basically had the key to your own freedom, and you threw away your chance at freedom to protect those people down in South Florida. So, okay. Defendant is in prison, having been convicted by law enforcement by use of very sinister means. Okay, so that I find kind of funny and overly dramatic. So that's signed by him himself. He's at the Holmes Correctional Institution. Okay, so whoever really wants to take a look at that can watch on replay. Okay, so who has some thoughts about that? Okay, Sigfredo. Yeah, this guy, it's like, well, he clearly doesn't have, he's not very smart. Some people said that, oh, he was a very nice guy. He was basically manipulated by Katie, but he definitely damaged his brain a lot using tons of drugs and drinking. So that's just based on what I've read. Okay, as the trigger man, Sigfredo is an unsympathetic witness, but he's never spoken publicly. It's the last card he has. Yeah, it did seem like he's not going to be able to get any sort of better deal at this very, very late hour by, becoming a state's witness. So he's already been convicted. And so that's him grasping at straws. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay, Sigfredo. Okay, thanks for being here, you guys. Yeah, okay, looks like people were talking about June. Okay, I'll probably have to go back. Yeah, go back up and start reading there. Okay, so those are the big news items. Did want to also show what Sam had to say for himself. I'm sure he'd be very disgusted reading this brief where Sigfredo is now turning against him and saying that he totally screwed up his case. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. Let's try to play this.
The course of the trial, from a defense standpoint, they did what was pragmatic and what was extremely effective argument is that they implicated my client to attempt to shield their client, but we didn't do the same thing. And we didn't do the same thing is because our client specifically instructed us not to. And if you think about that, you kind of understand the mindset of Mr. Garcia going into this case. Moments before the trial started, Ms. Kathleen, who's the prosecutor on the case, was extremely open to having Mr. Garcia cooperate, as they have been throughout the pendency of the case. They've been attempting to get him to cooperate. They've been attempting to get Ms. Magbanua to cooperate to get to the Adelsons, because they're the target at this point. I think they've been the target since the inception. Obviously, Ms. Magbanua, my client, Mr. Rivera, are part of the prosecutorial stream, but they are the top of they're the top of the pyramid. They're who they want to get.
Yes, and I think we have Jesse back.
Thanks for jumping in. Sam, it's good to see you. Okay, so I just heard your answer, and this actually brings us to the next step. So we were supposed to be covering the retrial of Katherine Magbanua. It was supposed to start last week, obviously pushed off for COVID-19, and we're waiting for the retrial.
Okay, so that was one thing that Sam said, which had to do with Sigfredo basically getting in the way of their strategy, because he didn't want to say anything that would be
when the sawdust settled
as being against Katie's interests. So look how that backfired against him. Okay, So now it looks like we have to watch an ad here.
And the engine finally roars. The thing you care about most is the job well done. But when you get your
Okay, so it was somewhere around the eight minutes something mark. Okay.
At this point, Sigfredo's case is under appeal. I'm not an appellate lawyer, so he has new counsel for his appeal. I don't think the government's going to call him as a witness. They've offered him deal after deal after deal, and he rejected all these deals at the inception because it was going to hurt his wife, Ms. Magbanua. So the chances of him doing a complete 180, in essence, to help himself when he's kind of thrown himself on a grenade in this case for Ms. Magbanua, I don't think that he's going to testify on behalf of the government. And I don't think he's a good witness for Ms. Magbanua. So I don't see him having any kind of role other than the government presenting the evidence that they have from a prosecutorial standpoint.
Okay, so those were the two quips from that interview on Law and Crime where Sam talked about the case and how his own client basically got in the way of them wanting to do something else to help him. So, okay. So there's something else I did want to also show you guys because there's been some kind of back and forth. Like some people are saying, well, I don't think Wendi will testify. Yes, maybe she will. We're not sure. She could plead the fifth or whatever. So in my last live stream, which not many people watched, I did interview one of my former employers / attorney friend, Seth Bloom, who is a criminal defense attorney with 30 years of experience. Granted, he's in North Carolina. So he did say, this is, of course, his opinion, not legal advice or whatever, say if somebody is subpoenaed to come to a trial, then they are supposed to show up. And especially if she's being given some sort of limited immunity, then she should be there to testify. I asked Seth about this. He did say that, for example, if Wendi does show up because she's subpoenaed, but she just keeps pleading the fifth or she refuses to talk, then of course they can bring out her previous testimony and use that to basically impeach her, to ask her repeatedly, didn't you say this to this question? Didn't you say this at the previous trial? You know, so anyway, it's kind of an interesting procedural thing. Okay, so just learning a tiny bit about Florida rules of evidence and hearsay exceptions here. Let's see, so what else is going on? I did want to mention, because I know Fancy mentioned this at one of her previous live streams, but it had to do with a comment I had gotten from someone alleging to be Charlie's son's mother, Brianna. And the funny thing is that in my old live stream show where I talked about that paternity test, I didn't give her full name because I wanted to at least, you know, sort of protect her privacy a little bit, even though people said that her name was already provided or spoken in a previous trial. So anyway, basically she was complaining and saying that, you know, it was kind of bad that we were talking about her personal issues and talking about what's going on because the Adelsons are such wonderful, great people. And, you know, they're the best grandparents ever. They help take care of her son, that Charlie talks to his son every night from jail. And it's too bad it's just like become entertainment for us people on the internet. So let me try to bring this up. Yeah, I don't think I'll show the whole stuff because, you know, her cousin responded when I talked about it on the Facebook group, but I don't know if she would really want it out there on YouTube or whatever. Okay, so this is what the person alleging to be Brianna first wrote as a comment on one of my YouTube videos, which was called something like Charlie Adelson's baby mama drama, something like that. Okay, so she wrote, "Hi, Judy. This is Brianna, the mother of Charlie Adelson's son. I have been contacted by many, and as entertaining as it must be to you and others reading about other families' issues, I'm watching your video that discusses myself and my son, which makes me feel disgusted. I'll start by saying from the moment our son was born, Charlie was a loving, participating, and supportive father. I find it important to squash any rumors or untruths of him being an absent or unsupportive dad. To this day, he still calls his son every night to say goodnight. Harvey and Donna, also known as Grandma and Grandpa, they love their grandchild dearly, and we speak daily, and they have spent as much time as possible with him. I can't put into words how much it hurts to see the comments from people who truly don't know what they are even speaking about, especially when it includes my son. Okay, so I already mentioned this before, but I thought it was pretty surprising because in her paternity and child support lawsuit, she totally spins a different story where she was saying that Charlie basically would run off and disappear for weeks or days at a time, leaving her with the kid and not paying for stuff, didn't even try to help get health insurance for his son. So that's quite a change from her now saying that he's been such a great dad from the day the kid was born. So the thing about Charlie talking to the son every night, I'm not too sure about that because I get the impression that it's not true from what True Lifestyles has told us from the jail record calls. So after I posted that to the Dan Markel Justice Facebook group, someone who says she is Brianna's cousin, not going to say her name, she responded and she said, as her family member, that does sound like her. She's very brainwashed, even though she told me once that when Charlie broke up with her, his reason was, quote, you don't need to be involved in this, unquote, and there are things you don't know. His son was removed from preschool because of an outburst he caused in the parking lot. He is not a good father, and he didn't and doesn't treat Bree well. It's sickening that she still defends him and lets Roman speak to him. Okay, so then the person also later wrote back and said something about how this person lives off of the Adelson's help. She knows he's guilty, but she's not in reality about it. Seems to be having financial problems, and it's alleged that the child's mother actually stole some money from a relative who had to then file a police report. And the person also claims that Donna helped buy Charlie's child's mother a home. But surprisingly, I guess she doesn't have enough money to buy a car. So anyway, sounds like she's kind of having financial problems, so makes her even more capable, I think, of being manipulated by the Adelson family. So it almost sounds like maybe Donna helped her write that PR comment. So sorry, can't keep talking again. I am just not meant to be doing broadcasts, right? Okay, can see some more negative comments coming from people like Joe, but I have already blocked plenty of people from the channel. So, okay. All right, so let me start from the top, and then hopefully I can just go and sit with a cup of hot tea or iced tea with honey. Okay. Wow, a lot of comments here. Thank you guys for caring about the case. Oh, thank you, Southern Law. I appreciate your help, you guys. Please support Southern Law's channel. Steve has also been a guest on one of my past live stream shows. I can't remember, what were we talking about? Were we talking about the Sweetie Pie's case or some sort of criminal law case? That was not the Markel case. So Steve is also an attorney in my county, although we did not know each other. I just happened upon one of his great videos about the Darrell Brooks case. So that's how I heard about Southern Law. and then realized he's actually a local attorney here. So great channel there. Okay, hopefully Charlie's taking inventory of his plight and saying, I'm going to lose this, time to flip on Wendi and Donna, garner the best deal. They're all reprehensible, but Wendi key. Yeah, I just don't see him flipping, not at this point. Looks like we're headed for trial. He loves his mom. Mom is the only person that's constantly talking to him in jail. Well, I mean, he talks to other people too, but Donna is by far the person that he has the most calls with while he's in jail. So he and his mom are still, what do they say, tight as thick as thieves or something. So he's not going to flip on them, because if he tries to flip against Wendi, then I'm sure he also has to tell the full truth about Donna, which he's not going to do. Okay, Charlie lived in affluence and to his own rules. Hubris landed him. Yeah, he definitely looks a lot more humble whenever he shows up in court now. Okay, needs to play ball, be the prison dentist. Okay, yeah, someone in the comment section says that looks like he still has his dental license, at least until the beginning of next year. Bedtime, can't wait till tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Mary. Okay, thank you, Fancy Fiction, for being here and all your great bar tap call videos. Okay, thank you for being here. Is it true that Dan was possibly going to move to New York and get a job at NYU and try? No, I never heard of that. I think, wasn't it Wendi that brought that up, or now I can't even remember. But I mean, it sounded like his relationship with his girlfriend at the time had just started. So they weren't really like a public couple until maybe about a month or so before he was killed. So I think the idea that Dan was going to move away to New York, who knows? I mean, it's hard to guess now that he's already been murdered. But in a way, I do think that if Wendi had just waited a little bit to see what would happen with Dan and his relationship with his new girlfriend, who knows, maybe Dan would have wanted to move to New York, and then maybe he would have been more willing to leave the kids with Wendi. So then Wendi could move away too. So, it just seems so greedy and short-sighted for the family allegedly to think that the solution should be just to kill off the dad so you can have the kids right now. So who knows what would have happened. But I think his relationship with the professor girlfriend was still pretty new. So we can only guess, what would he have done eventually if the relationship had lasted longer. Okay. It's not like Judy bought a yacht the next day after life. Okay, definitely I am not going to be buying a yacht. Okay, unintelligible. Okay. That's Wendi lying, I believe, making herself not sound so bad for her move to Miami. Yeah. Let's see, people are saying hi to each other. Thank you, Dawn. Thanks, Helen, for being here. Please also support Dawn Taquisto's channel. She's been doing some more videos highlighting and reacting to Wendi's police interrogation lately. Okay. Sounds right, except if it were proven she withheld money and lost her license, he may have. Well, yeah, I just don't see. Yeah, I mean, who knows what would have happened, but I don't see Dan as somebody who would have just said, well, I'm going to take the kids and move to New York. Like he seemed like he wanted to co-parent. He was trying to co-parent from what I've read. Yeah. Thank you, Society Page. I've really enjoyed your new videos. So this is a new YouTube channel that also has some videos about the Markel case. So please be sure to support and subscribe to this person's great new YouTube channel. Thank you. Yes, definitely a crazy case, Southern Law. Yeah, today's a good day for lovers of justice. Yeah, we'll feel even better assuming that Charlie gets convicted, right? Okay, lots of live streams. Yeah, I noticed that Carl is going to have a live stream at 9, so that'll be good. I'll just listen in and not have to keep talking. So, okay. Okay, you want me to speculate? Okay. Yeah, it seems like a lot of us know these quotes from the trials and stuff. Okay, Can all speculate. Hi, Patty. Thank you. Yes, we're armchair detectives. Charlie's looking healthier. I don't know. He didn't look that healthier. He was smiling more. Like in today's hearing, I felt like he was smiling more. He was really palling it up, like he's gotten pretty familiar with Rashbaum and Myers. But I don't think he looked healthier. He definitely looked like he had gained a little more weight. Oh, okay. Yeah, someone said that his eyes aren't as bulgy as they were the last time. So maybe he's getting some vitamins or more sunshine or something. Okay. Wendi, the true culprit, with Donna close second. Charlie was Sully in this with his bravado and entitlement and hubris, thought they could murder a man with impunity. He was wrong. Yeah, well, at least in terms of him so far, because he's the one being tried for now. So, nope, the case has not been delayed. Oh, so I didn't mention that one takeaway that I got from the hearing is I think this also means that Katie really is not going to be used. And that's because nobody mentioned anything about needing to have a different hearing before the trial so that Katie could be resentenced. Because from what I recall, it was either mentor lawyer or possibly Tim, some attorney in Florida, had mentioned the process for what could happen if Katie's proffers are going to be used and if she's going to be used as a state witness in exchange for some sort of deal. Then the state would ultimately have to have a hearing in front of a judge so that the judge could decide what kind of reduction in sentence Katie could get. So none of this was mentioned at all in today's case management hearing. And we're getting really close to the trial date. Well, not really close, but 3 months away from the trial date. So I'm beginning to think that perhaps what Tim had predicted is true, that Katie's proffers were essentially useless, that she's not going to be helpful or she's not necessary for the prosecution. So anyway, that's my opinion. And other people might have a different opinion too. So I know sometimes people get mad in the comments and stuff, arguing with me or other YouTubers, but it's just my opinion from having read and listened and looking at pretty much everything I can about this case. Yeah. Oh, okay. Am I getting into costume? Yeah, sorry about that. I had another call right before this with a different client. So my voice is spent as usual and took some time to get off the phone with that person. And then I had to go get my Georgia Cappleman looking jacket. So I'm very proud of finding this at the store. So anyway, this was the quasi costume today to show solidarity with Georgia Cappleman. Okay, but I can't keep wearing it because it's too hot here. So yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So we should talk about this because people keep asking about it. Like in Fancy's last live stream, people were also asking her, well, do you know if the Markels are going to file a civil lawsuit, or why haven't they filed a civil lawsuit? So I'm not going to spend more hours doing legal research about Florida law, but I've already seen at least 6 different Florida law firm websites where they keep saying that even though there is a 2-year statute of limitations for filing a wrongful death civil lawsuit in Florida, there are exceptions. And one of the exceptions is where from the time that the alleged murderer has been arrested, then that 2-year statute of limitations starts then, or the statute of limitations is not just 2 years from when the person is killed. But I agree with what Fancy said during her live stream in response to the person who asked about it, though, that I'm guessing that there has been no civil lawsuit filed because the Markels were probably hoping to have some sort of nice voluntary visitation with the grandchildren. That was ultimately, I think that's what they really cared about, was having a relationship with their own son's children. So if they filed some sort of civil lawsuit against Wendi or her family members, then that would definitely, just destroy any sort of tenuous relationship that they might have had. And this is just me, again, giving my own opinion. And since I do lots of civil litigation, you also have to take into account, is it going to be worth it to sue somebody in the civil court? And can you still prove the case? Because even though the standard of proof is lower in the civil context, you still have to be able to prove that the person did, in fact, murder your loved one. So that would be difficult. It seems smarter to wait and see what happens in the criminal context. And there's also the issue of what are you going to get out of it? Is it going to be worth all the stress and money and travel back and forth, especially where the would-be plaintiffs don't live anywhere near Florida, to start civil litigation against somebody who might not have any collectible assets. So I'm not thoroughly versed in how collections and judgments are handled in Florida, but it does seem like it's easier for people to be able to hide their assets or have assets that are exempt from creditors in Florida. So if certain people have already put most of their assets into trusts, then basically what are you going to get? A paper judgment? I mean, is insurance going to cover any sort of judgment or settlement? Who knows? But I think there are basically a lot of practical reasons why the Markels may not have filed a lawsuit against Wendi or Donna, Charlie, Harvey in the civil context. So that's kind of a long-winded explanation, but just my opinion here. So. Okay, anticipation is killing me. Yeah, we can't wait to see what happens with Charlie's trial. I mean, just hearing that there are going to be maybe 5 to 6 days of witnesses for Charlie makes me think that maybe Charlie is going to testify. I mean, what are they going to do? Just like bring in tons of witnesses who can talk about how other people in the family like to staple their cash and they kept all their cash together in a family safe. So it could have been somebody else taking the stapled money to pay the hitman, maybe. Yeah. He was a mechanic in this, like, hey, I'm the maestro, we'll get this done. Yeah, probably, because he always liked to show off and act like he was the one in charge and knew how to get things done. Yeah. We want to know who bought June that condo 3 months after the first trial, inquiring minds. Yeah, who knows? I don't know if the state has the ability to look into that or not. Yeah, but definitely she was back together with Charlie back then around the time of the first trial. So the way she testified was pretty awful. Yeah. Charlie's looking at mentor lawyer, then takes a big sigh. Okay, yeah, because mentor lawyer was actually there. So yeah, big shout out to James, mentor lawyer at Deep Dive True Crime, for showing us the hearing and all the work he's been doing to give us more info. Hi, Roxanne, thank you. Okay. From the tapes, I don't think Charlie was too invested in his nephews, etc. He likes being the family fixer. Yeah, he didn't seem like the best uncle ever. I mean, didn't he call one of the nephews a fat ass and then told Donna that Donna should hit or spank one of the nephews? So he just never seemed to really care to talk to them or see how they're doing, even though those kids were very frequently there with Donna whenever they were talking on the phone. So, yeah, and of course, throughout his conversations, he always sounded like he was disdainful of people with kids, women with kids, or gross, just like a big turnoff. Who wants to be with some woman with kids? So, okay, who's going to a trial? Yeah, I would definitely like to go. So I'm not buying my plane ticket yet, but definitely plan on going at least for a couple of days or so. Okay, go Georgia. I hope you liked my red jacket. Okay, 8 weeks to go. It would be great if something exciting happens soon, like another arrest. Yeah, that would definitely be great if Donna at least got arrested before then, but maybe they're waiting until afterwards. So, yeah. Thanks for being here. Oh yeah, he was a bit suggestive as to what to do with the boys on wiretaps. Yeah. Past tense, his life is over. He should know this and assess his situation and play ball. Yeah, but he can't turn against his mom. Mom is basically the only person that really, really loves him, that he loves her so much too. So he's not going to turn against her. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay. Especially since Dawn is like the makeup expert. So her channel also covers some makeup tips. Okay, have a feeling something is brewing, just a hunch. Okay, I sure hope so, that there's more stuff going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Okay, but that was bluster. He was more invested in his lifestyle than truly caring about them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's why it was so weird that Wendi posted that picture of him looking like he was down on the ground playing with at least one of the nephews and said, "Best uncle ever." Yeah. Okay. Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining in. Let's see. Witness list is long. Well, the witness list for this trial isn't due until September 22nd. So we'll have to see who's going to be subpoenaed to testify. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. He cared more about his insider trading penny stocks than those boys. Yeah. Okay, his demeanor is pretty much the same. Well, he does look a little bit downtrodden, I think, whenever he has to show up to court. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, when his female lawyer showed up, he lit up. Yeah. He's like, sure, I'll have any woman put her hand on my shoulder at this point. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this was my prediction when people were shocked that Daniel Rashbaum wanted to depose Amy Adler, who was Dan Markel's girlfriend at the time he was killed. But I thought that it was probably going to be some sort of fishing expedition for some dirt about Wendi. So maybe this witness could be brought out to talk about, what awful animus there was between Wendi and Dan, perhaps. Okay. So I do feel really sad for her, of course. Oh yeah, Kate Myers, the female attorney, almost gave him a kiss on the cheek. Yeah, that was kind of surprising to see them looking so friendly to each other now, given their demeanors at the previous hearings. Okay, money makes friends. Charlie's paying for her new BMW. I'd give him a pat for that too. Okay. Hi, Wesley. Hi, Ultra Testosterone. Okay. Oh, okay. So you liked it when I said Sigfredo's brief was a piece of crap. Yeah. I mean, I haven't read the whole thing, but once I started reading the first page, I was like, what the heck is this? This can't be written by a real attorney. And then sure enough, it is signed pro se by Sigfredo. But I feel like when I was in 5th grade, I could have written better than that. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad. I guess he was one of those kids left behind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sigfredo can't spell as well as Donna. That's right. Donna was the middle school spelling bee champ in her county in New York. Okay. Hi, Manira. Thanks for being here. Seems like the penny or the quarter has dropped. He realizes what is ahead. Okay. Oh, thanks for the compliments. Yeah, I am exhausted. I feel like just not talking anymore and getting something to drink and sleeping soon. So, okay, we should send Georgia an owl scarf. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure she would be flattered to get any sort of gifts from people. But I feel like, if we do go to the trial, we should definitely, not bother Georgia. Don't bother the attorneys or anything. And, don't bother the Markels. Yeah, I mean, as much as I think it would be kind of interesting to try to talk to some of these people, but on the other hand, they don't owe me anything, and they're just there because of their job or their roles in the case. So, I don't plan on going up to any of the attorneys or witnesses or anybody to try to chat them up or distract them. So, let's see. Okay, June will take the stand and talk about stable money. Yeah, so I wonder if Rashbaum has taken her deposition. I mean, you would assume that he'd probably also want to depose her to talk to her some more. Who knows? Yeah. Because I do feel like, maybe one of Rashbaum's strategies is to try to throw as much mud towards Wendi and just basically try to get witnesses to talk about how everybody kept the money together in the family safe, and the other family members stapled their money together too. So I wonder if anybody's going to talk about that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Very skeptical of the merits of the brief. Yeah. 46 page. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Can I ask her who paid for her condo a few months after the first trial? Yeah, that would probably be seen as an irrelevant question. Yeah, I mean, it could have been a question that somebody could have asked her at a deposition, for example. Yeah, but I don't think that would be something that a judge would allow someone to ask her at the trial, though. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I like my pro se briefs like I like my ransom notes handwritten. Yeah. Well, we did see some of Sigfredo's handwriting thanks to True Lifestyles when he was politely requesting things in jail, like, may I please have a copy of chicken soup for the prisoner's soul, or may I please have kosher meals, so people were saying his handwriting looked like some teenage girls, but it was very neat. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yes, in Boca Raton, converted rentals, 227K bought 3 months after Katie's acquittal. Yeah, but then again, like June seems to have a real job, also working for a realty company. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think a judge would want her grilled about that. Yeah. Okay, can we send Georgia a gift? Yeah, I mean, I did think about like, hey, how about sending something useful like a fruit basket or whatever? But on the other hand, you would think that people who work in the prosecutor's office would probably be very wary of eating gifts from people, like food and stuff, because they probably face a lot of really weird, like people that aren't all there as part of their jobs and stuff. So they probably would not want to take any sort of like food type gifts. I don't know if they're allowed to take material gifts either. Yeah, because there was one Christmas years ago when I wanted to give a bunch of like pre-made Christmas cookies to the clerk staff, and I think what happened, I think the clerk like couldn't take it for herself, but she had to just like put it in a common area for everybody to eat. But it also wasn't like homemade. It wasn't obviously homemade food, because I think they probably wouldn't want to eat that at all. Yeah, somehow I think that there are rules about giving people gifts. So what was it? Like, is it a $20 limit here? Now I can't remember, but anyway, yeah, there are all sorts of rules and stuff about giving people gifts if they work for state government. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Acquittal. Okay. Oh, that was the hung jury. Yeah. Okay. Back in 2019. Okay. Good to see the wheels of justice have been spinning the last 24 hours. Not long now, chuckles. Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad the trial isn't going to get postponed again. Yeah, it's gotta happen. Yeah. I don't follow what happens with June, only the main characters. Sigfredo, interesting. What motivation does he have to testify other than his hatred of Charlie? Hey, that may actually work out. Yeah, I mean, he has nothing to lose now. So, but I think he's just so messed up with his brain, fried from all those years of drug abuse and alcohol abuse, that he's just kind of dumb, or he has a horrible memory. So he doesn't like to listen to what his lawyers tell him to do. Okay, Sigfredo moved prisons 2 days ago. I don't know why. Do you, Judy? Anyone? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that could be a question for mentor lawyer, because he's right there in Florida. So that's really surprising. I don't know why he would move prisons. Going brose and airing all his butt hurt. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wonder how Sam Zangane would feel, but he's probably too busy to be reading that horrible brief. June is important. Donna told her on the condo terrace that Dan is haunting her from the grave. Yeah. It is good to see, after all this time, Georgia and Sarah looking ready to get this guy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad that they're going after him. Something's finally going to happen in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Yeah, from the grave. Why would Donna tell June this? Yeah, because, I mean, how stupid of her. I mean, and then why wouldn't June realize, well, why would she be all crying and why is her face all red and swollen and she's all upset saying that Dan is haunting them from the grave? You know, if they had nothing to do with his murder, it sounds totally bizarre. Okay, as the trigger man, Sigfredo is an unsympathetic witness, but he's never spoken publicly. It's the last card he has in his life. Yeah. Okay. Okay, June is important. She also reverts a lot, like when she said Donna was upset and said lots of other things. She also said Charlie always slept with a gun. Okay, odd. Yeah, and he always had a little bag of clothes ready to go in case he got arrested or in case something happened in the middle of the night. Yeah. So it's just really infuriating that she still got back together again with him, who knows for how long, around the time of Sigfredo's trial. Okay, read this today. It was mind-numbing. You should look. Yeah, the appellate, or not the appellate brief, but the motion written by Sigfredo. Okay. Interesting about the condo. Do a reenactment of Sigfredo? Sigfredo writing his motion for relief brief. I don't know. That sounds incredibly boring, and I don't think I look like Sigfredo or could do a convincing Sigfredo. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so people are saying hi. Poor attorney who was unjustified shot. Okay. Maybe they bought her a condo, but why? Yeah, to curry favor with her and make sure she didn't say anything too bad against them, right? So, okay. Who paid for it? Sam Zengane. Yeah, that's what people have said, that a lot of people think that it was the Adelsons that paid for him because Sigfredo had no money. You know, he was broke as a joke. As soon as he got any cash, he would just spend it and buy a bunch of drugs. So, yeah, he wasn't from some rich family who could scrape up the money to pay for a private attorney either. So he might have been better off, just like Lewis, with a court-appointed attorney. So he'll get no deal, but so what? Tell the truth, spill his guts, and serve it out. I'm sure he relishes burying Charlie. Yeah, but that's assuming that he actually did talk with Charlie to plot the murder. Because if Katie was the conduit, then, you know, what can he really say against Charlie? It sounded more like there was some sort of relationship between Sigfredo and Wendi, though, because Lewis only mentioned Wendy's name during his police interview, where he said that Sigfredo pointed out this woman and said, oh, that's Wendi. She's just here to make sure we're going to get the job done. She's the lady that wants her 2 kids back. So who knows if Sigfredo knew that Charlie was also behind it. Okay. Honestly, not sure. Public officials have strict rules about accepting even the most. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I said. Thank you, Don. So I would expect the same to apply to a prosecutor. Yeah, maybe just send a nice card. That should be good enough. You know, send some words of support to Sarah Dugan and Georgia Kappelman and wish them well. You know, I think that would probably make them pretty happy, as opposed to getting all sorts of like clothing or, you know, material things that they might not be able to accept anyway. Oh, this is funny. Dude's brief is just a long 1-star Yelp review, yeah, or 0-star. Yeah. I will never hire this lawyer for free again. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, on Southern Law's channel, he does kind of talk about people who try to represent themselves and think that they're going to do a great job defending themselves. So definitely check out his channel. It's pretty funny at times. Yeah. Okay, nice owl silk scarves. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's funny how Sam was saying his wife. What? They weren't legally married. I guess sometimes they refer to each other as husband and wife, but they were definitely both on again, off again, cheating on each other. Yeah. Katie won't be called in the witness stand. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so, since there's been no mention of some extra hearing to resentence her. Yeah, exactly. Who paid him? Katie's mom. Okay. Yeah, Katie's mom was a nurse, so I doubt she had much money lying around also to help bail out Sigfredo. Okay, I'm glad somebody made you laugh. Okay. Algorithm serving up big dog engines to Judy. She's a closet street racer. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your support. Hi, Judy. Do you think he can slip out of trouble by now declaring that he wasn't the trigger man, which he probably was? No, I don't think so. I mean, he's already been convicted, and yeah, I mean, what does it matter if he's now going to come out and say, I didn't shoot him? Well, who cares? I mean, the jury didn't buy that. So him just saying that it's not going to be of any use. Yeah. Hi, Debt Free Dad. Thanks for being here. Please subscribe also to his channel. He's an attorney in DC who has been on some of my live stream shows also. Okay. Pleading the fifth is admitting, well, it's not supposed to in the criminal context, but in civil cases that could be held against the person. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Debt Free Dad. Okay, Sam is representing the man accused of murdering Cash App founder Bob Lee in San Francisco. Wonder if he had trouble getting cases. I don't know. He sounds like he's so big and famous, because when I was trying to find that Law and Crime interview that I showed today, that was from spring of 2020. So there are a bunch of other YouTube interviews of him where he's talking about other big cases and cases that have gotten national publicity. So he sounds like a bigwig. I even tried to contact him to see if he would be on my show last year. And of course, I got no response. Back then, it looked like he didn't even have a real website, probably because he gets too many inquiries. So I tried to contact him through some other website contact form. So I don't know if he ever got it, but he's definitely too big of a trial lawyer and famous and stuff to be on some little YouTube channel. Yeah. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. In some professions, whoever pays is the client. Does that apply in the legal field? No, it doesn't. Yeah. So the client is always going to be the actual person that you are representing. So they talk to us about this in a lot of continuing legal ed classes, that usually what happens is that somebody's parent is paying for their legal bills, but your client is still the person that you're actually representing in court. So you shouldn't be, swayed either way by the person who might be paying for your bills. So that's the way it's supposed to be. So, okay. He hired some because they are both Persian. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. The person who pays doesn't make them the client. Yep, that's just what I said. Thank you for backing me up, Debt Free Dad. I've had parents pay for adult children, but the child is the client, not the parent. Okay, who's Persian? That would be who is it? Is it the Bob Lee's murderer, right? The alleged murderer. Yeah, there are so many criminal cases going on out there. Now I can't remember the guy's name, but that's another high-profile case that Zanganeh is now involved in California. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sam did not die. Okay. Yeah, it was just a slip of the tongue, I guess, when Carl said something about how Sigfredo's attorney died or whatever. So everybody's freaking out and Googling Sam, and I Googled Baya Harrison. So both those attorneys are still alive and kicking. So, okay. Well, didn't know that. Heard he hired a lawyer from Florida. I thought that was weird. I think Sam's Iranian, like the shooter. Yeah, I think so. That's what Stephen Epstein's book said, was that Sam Zanganeh's family was pretty wealthy and, had a pretty good high status when they were in Iran. But then, due to whatever unrest was going on there, they had to come to America. and he actually was pre-med for a while, but somebody told him he would make a great lawyer. So that's how Sam wound up going to law school instead of medical school. Oh, okay, Angela is a wealth of information. Yes, she tends to read a lot and know a lot about cases. So maybe you should start a YouTube channel too. Okay, the guy who killed the Cash App founder is Persian, and he only wanted Persian attorney. Okay, yeah, gotta have that connection, right? Yes, yeah, exactly. Cliff was just joking because of some of the flurry of worry that we had last week when we thought, oh my gosh, did Sam die? Okay, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest since there's conspiracy involved with the clients? Okay, did Debt-Free Dad already respond to this? Okay. Well, I guess he didn't respond. So that's kind of an interesting question. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes people are asking, like, isn't it a conflict of interest also that Rashbaum is representing Charlie when he used to be Donna's attorney? But I guess if your client is fully aware of the potential ramifications, it might be okay. I mean, different bars, state bars have their professional rules of conduct. So, depend what it is in Florida. So that does seem a little bit weird to me. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bruce, for being here. Bruce has also been a guest on my previous live stream shows. He's a former professional comedian. So great seeing Charlie and his papers. Yeah, they look kind of plasticky. Yeah, those are probably the same kind that Katie had to wear, and Katie was always busting up her slippers and requesting new flip-flops from the jail or from prison. Yeah, so we know that thanks to True Lifestyles. Okay. Yeah, Wendi said her first and last name. Yeah, that was Charlie's son's mother. Okay, I guess I'm really behind reading all the comments. Okay, hi, Wendi, Donna, and Harvey. If you're here today, not long to go now. Yeah, best grandparents, worst in-laws. Don't pay the ferryman. The Adelson Kool-Aid must taste awful. Okay, these must be comments when I was reading the comment from the person alleging to be Bree. Okay, entertainment, it's about justice. Yeah, I mean, what I find annoying is that when people in general leave negative comments on my channel as well as other YouTuber channels when we're covering the Dan Markel case, they never seem really concerned or don't even mention Dan. Dan is the victim here. So certain people need to stop acting like they're the biggest victims in this and get some common sense when they're going to be ragging on us for talking about the case and covering the case. So, okay. Didn't she take him to court? Yes, exactly. So I mentioned that Charlie's child's mother had to bring up paternity and child support lawsuit against him. And that was back in 2019, I think. Yeah, because the child didn't even have health insurance. And at the time, the child's mother had no job. She said something like she only had $2,000 to her name and was just really destitute, and Charlie wasn't giving her any money. Yeah. So, well, it was someone who said she was her relative on the Facebook group for Justice Dan Markel case, who said it based on the writing, it did sound like it was really from the child's mother. Yeah. But, how can you tell who's for real on the internet, right? Yeah. Okay, Bree has been bought until after the trial. Yeah, I mean, it sort of sounds like that. That's really sad that if it's true that she was in such a predicament, allegedly stole money from her own relative. So these are all just things that people have posted. Yeah. I think they bought a place. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense because the child support amount just seemed so piddly given his assets and his income. So the child support was only $1,500 a month. So, okay. I'm sure Charlie, the alleged murderer, is a great dad. Yeah, I'm like, great dad because he supposedly calls the kid every day from jail. Wow. What kind of memories is he making with his child? Yeah. He might be a great dad, but allegedly also a murder for hire suspect. Okay. Brianna's been paid off by Donna and Harvey to clean up Charlie's image. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. When Jeff Lacoste in his initial police interview mentioned he had said on numerous occasions that he would like to kick Dan's butt, what was told to him that would make him that mad? Yeah, well, it was all stuff that Wendi probably told him. Yeah, because he didn't actually have any real interactions with Dan directly, other than maybe seeing him at the kids' sporting events or something, or during transfers of the children. So I think pretty much everything he heard was through Wendi. Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay, I think I do need to wind this down because I'm running out of water and stuff. So, okay, looked up her name last year. Was in a house. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure where she is now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is where I don't think so, just based on what True Lifestyles has reported. But there are some numbers where True Lifestyles couldn't tell who it was. So there's just some calls to a North Carolina area code also that could be the child's mom. Yeah. Okay. House was sold a couple of years ago. Don't remember the sale date. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Some miscellaneous calls each day. Burner's phone. If true, sad Bree and her son are not being taken care of better than this. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It seems like we're all watching and listening to the same stuff. Yeah. Susan mentioned that's the YouTuber True Lifestyles mentioned she thinks one of the numbers is her. Oh, thank you, baby doll. Yeah, she wrote every night. Yeah, okay. Yes, correct. Yeah, the person claims that Charlie talks to his son every night from jail. Okay. Who will Rashbaum call to testify for 5 to 6 days? That's what I'm not sure. Is Charlie going to talk for 5 days? I guess he's good at that, right? He could just drone on and on and on and try to convince people, right? But I think that would be kind of foolhardy for the client to be testifying. What do I know? Yeah, could just be people talking about Wendi's motive to want to off Dan and how Charlie had no hard feelings towards Dan, and whole family likes to staple cash. So it doesn't necessarily lead to Charlie, just the fact that the cash to the hitman had staple holes. So, oh yeah, yeah. Bree hasn't been taken care of, like the undercover FBI agent's brother. Okay, yeah. So Sam is fine. Yeah. Okay, yeah. He still has his great legal career. Okay. Let's see. Love Southern Law. That's great. Yeah, definitely support each other's channels. Okay, I guess I better scroll down and just get ready to go get some more water to drink then. Thank you guys all for putting up with me with my horrible voice tonight. Oh, no chance for a plea now? Well, I mean, I guess theoretically he can still make a plea, but I doubt it. It sure seemed like Charlie and his attorneys were just seeming pretty happy and confident, and they're just ready to blaze on ahead with the trial. So I doubt that there's going to be any sort of plea from Charlie. Looks like he thinks that there's a shot that he could just beat this. Yeah, thank you, NY Patriot Lady. We're going to wind down now. Yeah. Let's see. Will Charlie talk for 5 days? Yeah, I'm just being facetious. I doubt he's really going to talk for 5 days. Yeah, they probably found some people who can talk trash about Wendi and talk about the family's habits or something. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Angela. Thanks for always being so supportive also. Thoughts on Charlie's defense being he was brought in after... I think that would be really stupid, but I don't know what amazing thing Rashbaum and Myers are going to come up with. Yeah, because it just, Doesn't seem like it based on the phone calls between Charlie and Katie, the wiretap phone calls, and, the Matsuri recording, the Dolce Vita. There are too many things that Charlie said that make it pretty clear to me that, he was thoroughly involved with plotting the whole murder, that he's not just saying like, oh man, all this mess that Wendi created, or Wendi and my mom created. Now I have to deal with all this crap. He's not saying anything like that. So it doesn't sound like that would be believable whatsoever, to just now changing the story and coming up with a different scenario that he was just cleaning things up after the bump. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh no, I definitely don't want to be a judge. Yeah. I can barely stand to just keep talking to clients and, during the day, and you have to sit still and really pay close attention to things nonstop with a lot of people mad at you. So yeah. But thanks for saying that. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, let's all look forward to Carl Steinbeck's live stream, which I think is starting at 9 o'clock. I think it's 9 o'clock Eastern time, but check out his YouTube channel, which is called Jury Trial Mentor. Yeah, so I think pretty much everybody here already knows about all the channels that cover the Markel case, but let's see, I'll put that in the chat box so you guys can check out Carl Steinbeck's channel. And I do have to really appreciate that Carl has put in so much work into his channel, and I think it wasn't that long ago that he got 1,000 subscribers, so hopefully he's gotten monetized by now. And it looks like he has a really nice camera too, very great production value. And then, Donna's also on live tonight. Wow. Okay, well, tell us more about your channel too, or we'll just check on your channel page, because someone's already asking what time is Dawn's live. So, wow, yeah, everybody just wants to keep talking about this case, and I really get that impression too, because when I try to cover other topics, my views are way, way less. So things are really heating up in Charlie Adelson's trial. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll probably see you guys also on Carl's channel soon. So, okay, so tune in again to Jury Trial Mentor, just in maybe like an hour and a half. Okay, thank you guys so much. Oh, okay. 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern on Dawn's channel. Okay, great. Have a good evening. Have a great weekend. See you guys on Carl's live stream soon. Thank you.